I'm KellyLee McFrederick, Beach Natives International Real Estate. This is about investing in the Caribbean, some tax advantages to understand why folks flock to these exotic destinations. So I got some simple, easy tips for you. The Caribbean, it's a region known for turquoise water, white sandy beaches, and vibrant culture and color. It's not just a dream destination for vacations, it's also the ultimate playground for savvy investors. So if you ever thought about trading in your hectic 9-to-5 for palm trees and ocean views, grab your sun hat and put on your favorite island tunes. We're going to dive into some easy tips and tax advantages for investing in the Caribbean. Why do we want to invest in the Caribbean? Let's start with number one is tourism growth. You got to have people fill the cabanas that you just bought, your great condos, your homes, your beaches right there. Millions flock to the Caribbean annually, and with the high occupancy rates around the islands, fueled by visitors eager to bask in the sun, sip the rum cocktails, and my favorite, snap the selfies on the beach, your rental property can really bring in the bucks. Think of it as banking while you're basking. Who would not want that? Another great reason is stable property values. You have stable property values because you also have a stable government, which is very important. Many islands see a consistent increase in property prices. This is not just a good investment, it's social good currency. Just imagine the looks on your friends' faces when you casually drop that you bought a beachfront property. Instant envy. And also think about this, it gives you a place to go, a write-off, a business tax write-off that you can really enjoy as you go over there, either as just a destination for you, as a hub to visit the other islands, but you're making rental income. That is what is very good. Diversification, we talked about it's really good, diversification. Investing in international real estate not only adds a splash of color to your portfolio, but also helps you weather the financial storms back home. And with proper homeowners insurance, you can weather the storms in the Caribbean and have peace of mind knowing your investments are diversifying. When we talk about insurance, you can also have insurance from the US, you can have it down in the Caribbean islands. You can also send it back to your agent friends that you trust. Have them review a policy that you're looking at in the Caribbean. So you have different ways to definitely weather those storms down there as you're weathering the storms where you are from. So we make sure that you are safe. Now it's time to know your islands. Let's talk about a couple of the islands for fun. There's a lot of them are the same and some of them all have little nuances. Puerto Rico, that one's very easy. It's a U.S. territory. It's a real estate gold mine, especially for investors looking for short-term rental opportunities without any passport hassle. With the beautiful rainforest of El Junco, it's like owning a piece of paradise with a side of convenience. In Costa Rica, welcome to purchase property, and we share the same property ownership rights as Costa Rican citizens. No residency is required. Yet it will be necessary if you stay for an extended period of time, no different than the United States. When you purchase a property, real estate transfer taxes are reduced for foreign residents, retirees, and income-based residents. Now, some of the incentives include the free trade zone. The free trade zone regime for companies investing with tax exemptions and transferring profits without incurring additional taxes. That's the same, we have a lot of those same zones here in the United States. So it really is an incentive to have folks there, and obviously we have folks here that are looking for companies and where to plant a company that you may like, from the US to down there, and definitely have different kind of talents that different companies are looking for, that skill set. Now, there's also called the value added tax. You'll hear the word VAT, get to know that word. You can also have some exemptions for local purchases for foreign investors. Now, what that means is that on your tax returns, some of the value added, which can be up to 13%, can be reduced off of your bill. It is a sliding scale of what things are taxed on with the VAT tax. So it's nice to have some of the foreign investors knowing that there's reduction in some of those extra taxes that may be there. And again, we don't have any timelines or deadlines for building on raw land, which is very important because you may have a great purchase price, but you may not have something to build for the next couple of years to build that commercial property or residential property. Now we're going to talk about the Bahamas. With over 700 islands, the opportunities are as endless as the ocean. You'll find it here whether you're eyeing a luxury villa or something more budget-friendly. Oh, and the tax advantages for foreigners. There are no restrictions on foreigners buying property in Bahamas. Of course, the government encourages you. No special permits are required. Property taxes are based on the purchase price and the owner occupancy of the property. It's based on a sliding increment scale per year. They also do not have any personal income tax or capital gains tax or inheritance tax. Now, this is made up by imposing a value-added tax. Remember that famous word VAT? Here they don't have exemptions. They have the reduction of all the other taxes because they do have the value-added tax. Now, if you pay over $500,000 for a property, you may get priority in permanent resident applications, which is important if that's what you want. Okay, Dominican Republic. Yay! Foreigners have the same property rights as citizens in purchasing property. Attractive tax incentives for investing in real estate. No capital gains, no exemptions from property transfer taxes, and your Social Security and pension benefits are not taxable. That's going to be very common in many of the Caribbean islands. Only any income that you earn in the Dominican Republic, like many islands. So note that basically your income from the U.S. is not going to be, only basically what you ever make on the islands is what does get taxed. Political stability is good with regular elections and continued confidence in the government. Has really risen as possibly one of the top investment countries to be looking at that people are investing in because their government is really risen. They've become very popular. It has become a great destination. Mixing in with a growing economy and tourism constantly increasing lends to the stability and growth potential of your investment in real estate. A call for stricter border control measures is moving forward. That's been happening for a while. They're very strict with their boards, very much so. To obtain a resident visa, you must demonstrate proof of income or financial means to support yourself. Now, the amount is going to vary depending on the visa you're applying for. And again, that's going to be very common in many of your Caribbean islands. They are not there to support anyone who's on welfare or looking for a free ride. Not at all. They definitely want you to have X amount of money in the bank or your Social Security check going directly into their banks that you have enough to live on. And that, again, is based on what is the average cost of living on that particular island. So just know that with these different visas or residencies, you may be having to have definitely some dollars in the bank proving that you are self-supporting. Now, the Grand Caymans, investing and retiring is pretty straightforward. The Grand Cayman offers significant tax advantages. You know that they're known as the financial haven with their tax neutrality. There is no income tax. There is no capital gains tax. And again, there is no inheritance tax. But here's going to be a little bit of the difference. They do not impose the value-added tax, the famous VAT tax. However, it's worth noting that they are import duties levied on most goods, which means what you're purchasing is always going to cost a little bit more than what you're used to, but that's how they make up for the other taxes that everyone feels is so important. So the average rate is about 25% on the average duty tax that is imposed that you will be spending out of your pocket. Now, the government welcomes foreign investment in personal and commercial purchases, guaranteeing absolute ownership of each parcel of land. So these are just some great tips and advice, and very happy to talk to you more as you think about which island fits your budget, any kind of tax incentives that you're looking for, what is the lifestyle that you want, and that's the most important piece of this. And do you want to stay there for a little while, rent? We talked about that. Do you want it as a hub? Do you want to be there part of the year? Do you want to bring your family? Do you want resale? So we really look at all these options as we discover what is the best prospect for you and that property. So I'm KellyLee McFrederick with Beach Natives International Real Estate. I look forward to helping you find the right property.